Okay, everybody, you have to know about these 3 vibratos for the index finger because you're going to get to the point where you want to do it with all 4 fingers, but you're going to notice that the index finger gets a little tricky to do sometimes because it's a little different than if you're using your middle and ring finger for a lot of these. If you go to the index finger, you're going to feel a little bit different. You know, with the ring finger and middle finger, it's kind of easy to just let it ride the rail up and down like that, or even the pinky, if you're up high, like this. That's pretty standard, but when you get to the index finger, a lot of people don't know how to make vibrato work, so I want to give you 3 options today. The first one, I'll just give you the BB King Vibrato, I call it. This is one I use most of the time, a variation of it. So what I do is I kind of do this like old school hang loose finger position, and I just let my wrist do all the rotating. So if you have your finger, let's say on the 3rd string, 7th fret, and I have it pressed down here, or I have it fretted, if I just rotate my hand, I get the vibrato pulling down. See, it's kind of like if I took my thumb and just pulled it, it would be like a lever, and it would make it work. I really like that vibrato because you could be a little more subtle with it, or you could be huge and crazy. So subtle would be like this. You notice my thumb doesn't always have to do this. That's more for teaching purposes. But you get a nice slow vibrato. Also, you can go erratic with it because as fast as you can rotate your wrist, you can make it do vibrato. The second one is going to be the Clapton Vibrato. And I learned this just by watching his hand when I saw him live, and I was just like, how's he doing that? So I call this the floating vibrato. So we're going to fret the same note. But what I want you to do is I don't want you to grip the neck at all. I just want you to have the first finger on that note and then get your fingers close because you're probably going to go to another note very soon. What we're going to do is we're going to let our hand float up and down this direction like that while fretting the note, and you get this really interesting floating vibrato. I'll go slow first. The only thing I'm really feeling is my fingers kind of hitting the bottom of the neck when it gets to the top of the vibrato bend, but everything else is just floating. So from another angle, you get this with the hand. See how it's open like that? And then it just kind of goes up and down like that. Works really well for the first string because you're pushing up anyway. So practice that a little bit. Move it around and see if you can get the floating thing happening. And just like the other vibrato, you can really get it going crazy. Sometimes the neck looks like it's bouncing a lot, but you get the same kind of effect as the first one. And the final option that I'm going to show you today of vibrato with the index finger is going to be circular vibrato. Now, Steve Vai does this, but he says he does full circles, but if you watch his finger, it looks like he does half a circle and then comes back to the center. And I figured this out by trying it full circle, and it just sounds kind of weird. See how crazy and erratic it sounds if you go the full circle? But if you do half a circle, come back to the middle. Think of it just as a half moon type shape, like an arc. That can actually sound pretty even. So it's more of like an oval shape, I would say. Now there are some advantages to doing the circular shape, and that's you get a nice even vibrato. Sometimes when you're doing up and down stuff, it's easy to just kind of change the speed of it, and sometimes you want a nice even sound. For me, I found this works great for ballads. So if I'm doing something really slow, like when Steve Vai does For the Love of God, if you watch him do his vibrato, there's a really nice sound to it, nice and even because it's circular. A lot of people ask, well, isn't that kind of a waste of motion to move your fingers back and forth in a big circle when you could just do this? Possibly, but the most important thing for vibrato is that it feels good for you when you do it. This BB King thing just feels more natural to me. I think it's because I grew up doing a lot of pentatonic Bach stuff, so I'm used to just doing this flutter really quick. When it comes to doing this feeling, I feel like I have to kind of change my hand position to make it work, because it's really hard for me to do the circular vibrato with my hands clenched like this. It just feels like I can't do it. So in my case, because I play with my thumb over the top quite a bit, the BB King works really well for me. The Clapton works really well for me when I'm doing first string stuff, because I have to push it up anyway, but the circular will work if I'm in a certain situation where my hand is open. So let's say I just did some legato stuff. Okay, so I suggest trying all three of these and seeing what feels best for you, and then go ahead and modify them if you want. Mix them together. Use different fingers to see how that feels whenever you're playing. You might have to change it according to whatever situation you're in. And then let me know which vibrato you prefer when it comes to that, or if there's something I don't even know about yet that you already do, let me know as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.